Welcome to Zara Oxford Learning Hub, your one-stop solution to all of your educational goals. Today's video is on multi-store model of memory. Have you ever wondered why you remember song lyrics from 10 years ago, but forget a verification code the second you close the tab? It's not your brain failing. It's the specific architecture of your memory. Today, we are breaking down the blueprint of the human mind, the multi-store model of memory. By the end of this video, you won't just pass your exam. You'll understand the specific architecture of how you think. In 1968, Atkinson and Shiffrin challenged the idea of a single unified memory system by proposing that memory functions more like a dynamic information processing pipeline rather than being stored all at once. Information flows through three distinct stages: sensory memory, short-term memory, and long-term memory, each with its own role, limitations, and mechanisms for transforming fleeting impressions into lasting knowledge. Information enters, and if you pay attention, it moves forward. If not, it disappears. It starts at the gates, the sensory register. This is raw data from your environment. Visual info goes to iconic memory. This sensory store has 5 substores, one for each sense. The two main ones you need to know are iconic memory, visual information, and echoic memory, sound. And here is the critical data. Duration is less than half a second. It is fleeting. Capacity is huge. Your eyes see everything in your visual field. To save this data, you must use attention. Without attention, the memory trace decays instantly. With attention, it moves to store number 2. Therefore, attention is the key for the sensory register. Without attention, the memory trace decays instantly. Once the information has been filtered using attention, here comes short-term memory. This is your temporary workspace. Let's break down the dimensions of this temporary storehouse. The first dimension is coding. STM prefers to store information acoustically by sound, since STM relies on sound. This is why when you try to remember a phone number, you repeat it aloud in your head. The second important dimension of STM is capacity. As researcher George Miller noted, the average human auditory capacity is limited to the magic number 7, plus or minus 2 items. The third dimension is the duration. Without rehearsal, info here fades in just 18 to 30 seconds. To keep the information in this temporary storehouse or STM, we use maintenance rehearsal, repeating it over and over. If there is enough maintenance rehearsal, the information transfers to the final stage. This final stage is long-term memory, also called LT. LMT is the warehouse of all the stored information. Unlike the previous temporary store or STM, LTM is theoretically permanent. The capacity is unlimited. The duration is a lifetime. In LTM, the coding is crucially semantic because it relies on the meaning of the information, not the sound. To use this information later, we must pull it back into short-term memory. This process is called retrieval. Now the question arises, does this model actually exist physically? Yes, the case study of a patient named HM proves the multi-store model of memory. After his hippocampus was removed, he lost the ability to form new long-term memories. But his short-term memory remained intact. This proved the memory stores are separate. So remember the flow. Sensory register needs attention. STM needs rehearsal. LTM needs retrieval. Subscribe for part 2 where we critique this model. Thanks for watching.